You wanted the best. You've got the best podcast. The hottest podcast in the world. The Chris Voss Show, the preeminent podcast with guests so smart you may experience serious brain bleed. The CEOs, authors, thought leaders, visionaries, and motivators. Get ready. Strap yourself in. Keep your hands, arms, and legs inside the vehicle at all times, because you're about to go on a monster education roller coaster with your brain. Now, here's your host, Chris Voss.
Now here's your host, Chris Voss. Oh my gosh. What is Chris Voss doing on the show again for 13 years? I don't know. It's always me. Do you ever think that if you ever tuned in the show and it's like, hey, who's the host of the Chris Voss Show today? And it's like, I don't know, some guy named Bob. Like, that would be kind of interesting, huh? That'd probably be bad news. It'd probably be Bob the funeral taker. We have bad news on the Chris Voss Show. Chris Voss drove himself into a wall the other day. Welcome to the Chris Voss Show, the ChrisVossShow.com. Welcome, my friends, the family that loves you but doesn't judge you, only partially, slightly, maybe a little bit, maybe just your hairline. I don't know. Anyway, guys, refer the show to your family, friends, and relatives. Tell them to subscribe to the show. Tell them to go to iTunes. Give us a 5-star referral over there. Go to goodreads.com/Chris Voss, our big 130,000 group on LinkedIn. The big LinkedIn newsletter. Subscribe to that, baby. That goes out every day and all that good stuff. And watch for some amazing journalists and guests that we're going to be having. They're going to blow your mind. Last week, we had like a crazy week. We had Stephen R. Covey's daughter on, who co-wrote the book with her late father. We had a billionaire on. We had a New York Times journalist. We have a lot of those guys on, but we love always having them on. We had somebody else who was famous on. Oh, we've got coming out this week, we've got the chief speechwriter for the Obama administration, for President Obama. He's on the show with his amazing new book. And there was some other great people that we had on. You've heard me talk about before. Anyway, go watch those past episodes and watch this episode and current episodes coming. Today, we have the CEO and founder, Lewis Raymond Taylor, on the show of thecoachingmasters.com. He's going to be talking to us about his business, what he does, how he does it, and all that good stuff. Lewis Raymond Taylor is a Forbes featured entrepreneur and owner of a $25 million business that turned his life around despite suffering sexual abuse, mental illness, probably some mental abuse too, addiction, bereavement, and spending multiple times in prison. Welcome to the show, Lewis. How are you?
I'm very good. I apologize for anybody watching me live because I feel quite embarrassed of the camera quality compared to whatever you're doing there, Chris. It's pretty amazing. I can see every single pixel there. But I'm on the road at the moment, so I'm living out of hotels. I'm really living the digital nomad lifestyle. I'm from England, but I usually live in Bali. But I'm actually on my way to Barcelona to get married. And I don't have the full setup to the point where my lighting is actually in a shoe right now. So if you're watching on audio, if you're listening on audio, thank God. If you're watching me live, I'm sorry, guys. It's the best I could do, but it's a pleasure to be here.
There you go. And you're off to be wed. Is that the right
Yeah,
thing?
I'm getting married. It's a lovely story. I'll quickly share it. I was actually speaking on stage, and it was one of my customers that had bought one of my courses. We kind of, met eyes, and, I was sharing my story, and it was kind of like I was sharing my story with her. Anyway, I met up with her after the event. And cut a long story short, 3 days later, I said, you know what? Don't go back to Miami, because that's where she lived. We was in Barcelona. I was from London. She was from Miami. I said, don't go back to Miami. Stay with me. Let's travel the world instead. And it took a lot of arguments with her South American family on the phone. I must admit, they really did not want that to happen. But she eventually agreed, and we've been together ever since. And now we're getting married 3 years to the day in Barcelona where we met. So,
wow. Well, I'm glad you gave it a good 3 years to make sure it's nice and solid there. It's
yeah.
always I have friends sometimes that are like, I met this woman, we're getting married next week in Vegas, and you're just like, whoa, what the hell? So
I've heard there's a 3-year itch where 3 years it starts to get a bit. We got married in the 3 years, so we'll find out after.
Yeah. There you go. You're going to find out definitely. Well, congratulations.
Thank you very
So
much.
give us your .com so people can look you up on the interwebs.
Cool. So if you want to, because to be honest, I've focused a lot on the company over the last few years, building that up. We have an organization that trains and qualifies life coaches.
Mm-hmm.
We do that with cutting edge virtual reality and artificial intelligence, as well as obviously all our courses and membership sites and things like that. And that's thecoachingmasters.com.
Mm-hmm.
So you can check that out. But of course, my website as well, my personal website, my personal brand, which is lewisraymondtaylor.com. So feel free to have a little research as we're talking and get to know me. But I'm sure we're going to be diving in deep. How long we got today, Chris? Just so I know how to
It's
go.
up to you. 30 minutes to an hour.
Okay.
We just kind of go until it's kind of in the can. But
Yeah. Okay.
yeah. So we've got the .com there. Let's talk about some of the cool things you have on there, because you actually have like an app and different things that you offer people.
Yeah.
So talk to us about what that's all about and how you do it.
Yeah, so I mean, I started off just coaching people. It came very organically from my own transformation. I mean, we'll have to quickly touch on that because you put it in the intro. Of course, I came from a difficult upbringing, and I've suffered every single trauma I think there is that could be that exists. So
Were you collecting them? Is that what you're doing? You're
I
like,
was collecting them, yeah, and I was one I
getting all
didn't have,
the
and I unfortunately got
getting
that
all the
one
spaces.
recently. Yeah, so now I've completed the full set. But yeah, I was sexually abused. I was also abused by my father, who was an alcoholic, and he put me down a lot.
Oh.
It's quite a cliche kind of entrepreneurial backstory, unfortunately, but it is my truth. And things were tough, and I started getting expelled from school, and I was in a young offenders institution, and I ended up in prison. It's actually very violent, very angry. That's why I was violent. And I didn't understand why, really. Went through a lot of therapy, spent time in prison, did rehab for 6 months. And to cut a long story short, I just realized that I could change my life. And I started to completely transform things. Moved away from my friends and family, started engaging in Narcotics Anonymous meetings and Alcoholics Anonymous meetings and volunteering. And just piece by piece, bit by bit, I started to notice some drastic changes. At this point, I just wanted to help people. I felt like I'd changed myself, and I was compelled to share it with others. So because I thought, look, if anyone's going to change, it's not going to be me. No way, because I'm been in prison 3 times, and I've been a bad kid from a young age. My dad called me bad, teachers called me bad, the court said I was bad, the police said I was bad, the psychologist even said I was bad, and diagnosed me with 3 different mental health diagnoses over the years. Yeah. So I mean, I was
You were
just
collecting all the spaces.
Yeah, I really was. Yeah, I tried to commit suicide once. Walked in and found my dad dead. So like the list goes on. But let's move forward from that. I had a difficult upbringing, but I started helping people for free. I met them up in coffee shops, and I said, well, I found people online that looked like they were a little bit miserable, and I said, look, do you want to chat about this? In the local area, we'll meet up for a coffee, and we can talk about it. And I did that, and I realized I blew them away. And it was only at this moment where I realized that the 6 months in rehab, where I was sitting in those circles and listening to people's relapses and denials and breakthroughs and stories and limiting beliefs, and I was absorbing it all, and that combined with my own personal journey, I realized I had so much to offer. I didn't even know what a coach was back then. Googled it and realized, I could maybe start a business out of this. And then combine that with social media and the internet about 7 years ago, maybe now, before it was really kind of a big thing, before the pandemic and everything. And I was kind of like one of the first, not obviously the first, but definitely one of the first sort of new age breed of coaches that are doing the coaching online. At the time, I was doing it on Facebook video rather before Zoom even existed. And yeah, I started getting great results, and then that evolved. So I started training other coaches. We started hiring team members to the point now where we have a full coaching academy on the Oculus headset in virtual reality.
Wow.
So we have avatars
Wow.
that deliver training. We have AI assessment avatars that can even test your abilities as a coach. We can take you back and have a conversation with your younger self or your older self, or even put you at your own funeral to contemplate what people might say about you after you die. And yeah, it's powerful stuff. So yeah, it's a lot of fun. We've also built our first co-working space in Bali, and we're building those out across the world. The 4 key components that we focus on is Connect, which is our social media platform and community, which I know you're very big on, Chris. Grow, which is our e-learning products and our virtual reality. Meet, which is our global co-working spaces, events, and just the ability for people to meet up with one another. We want, that offline piece to be there, and exchange, which is a marketplace where coaches will be able to safely exchange their products and services. As you know, within the industry over the last few years, things have got a bit chaotic. It's a bit like the wild, wild west. And we're trying to do our best to regulate that by verifying coaches and then also holding secure funds in an escrow payment system so that we can only release funds once the service has been delivered to a high standard. So hopefully we can avoid some people losing their money.
That's pretty good. I like that. I've recently had two friends that I had on Facebook that finally admitted they were coaches, and I don't know, they claim to be really good coaches. I don't know. It seems like everyone claims to be a good coach these days.
Yeah.
My dogs are doing coaching, and
Yeah.
I'm just like, what's going on? But turns out they've been living in their car for 2 years, and I felt really betrayed. I never hired them, but I felt really betrayed because I bought hook, line, and sinker that they were successful coaches.
Wow.
And they've been living in their car for 2 years. And I was like, and one of them was teaching male stuff on how to provide for your family and how to be a leading father. And I'm like, maybe you should have gone and gotten a job for your family. I mean, especially in this environment now where I just saw a teacher quit their teaching job to go to Amazon because it pays more.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm not really sure anyway. So I think it's good that there's some sort of check. So you guys, according to the website here, you guys have 1,400 qualified coaches on the Coach app. And should we mention the coachapp.com?
Yeah, Coach App is kind of the evolution. At the moment, we've got the Coaching Masters, which is our training academy. We've got Cafe Coach, which is our co-working space in Bali. And we've got Coach Flix, which is our on-demand streaming service for coaching, sort of self-study training. And we're bringing that all together under one roof, coachapp.com.
There you go. 3,600 community members, 250 million earned by clients, 71 countries served. So pretty amazing. It's billed as the world's #1 coaching community on Coach app. And people can sign up for as little as $9.95 per month. Is that correct? Do I have all that right?
Yep, exactly. I mean, the membership where you get the on-demand training is $9.99. You get access to the community, you get access to all the training, all the resources. And then there's also live and accredited, more immersive experiences that go on top of that, should people wish to continue that journey.
Nice. And then it looks like you're doing some crowdfunding too.
Yeah, I mean, that's an important thing I want to talk about today. So the exciting thing is, this was born out of pure passion. I just wanted to help people because I realized that I could, and met some amazing business partners, and luckily had a bit of a knack for technology. And we actually started the business with no funding, no debt, no investment, no even personal investment. In fact, how we launched the business was did a Facebook Live, sold a course that didn't exist, but just a framework, and delivered it live for the first time, made 17,000 and just reinvested it. And now recently received a valuation of $25 million 3.5 years later.
Wow.
So it's quite incredible.
Yeah, that is awesome.
But we're still looking to grow and take things to the next level. Like, we really want to disrupt the coaching industry and make it safer, and make it more of a mass market appeal. Because you say, everyone's coaches and your dogs are coaches, but that's in the entrepreneurial world. But if you walk outside to your Joe Blogs and ask somebody what a coach is, they're going to tell you it's a bus. They still don't even know what it is. And a bus is I don't know if you know what a bus is, because it might be an English thing, but like a coach, an actual one that you drive.
Okay.
Right? Yeah.
Oh, a bus coach. Yeah.
Or they might tell you that it's something to do with like an athlete. It's a coach, like a health coach is probably as far as they go. But they don't know that you can become a mindset coach, a confidence coach, a fulfillment coach, and the world can become a better place. And the industry is growing fast, but it still doesn't have the exposure it needs. So we're really on a mission to expand what we're doing. So we are crowdfunding. Yeah. So we're giving people the opportunity to come and join us. It's not live yet, but we've partnered with Crowdcube, which is a crowdfunding platform that do all their due diligence to make sure everything's compliant and legit, and took up months of my life verifying every single thing I've ever done, and $300,000 in legal fees to make sure that I'm not a hustling entrepreneur anymore. I'm actually a legitimate business owner. But it now means that you can own a piece of a very fast growing tech company. And there's also a lot of perks that you get with that. So you get free courses and things like that when you become an investor. So yeah, if you're interested in learning how you can become a part of that, we have a 4-minute video that literally explains the business in its whole fashion in 4 minutes. And am I allowed to drop the link for that now?
Yes, please.
Cool. So that's very simple. I've created a special shorter link for this, so it's easy to remember. And that's tcmcrowdfund.com. That's Tango Charlie Mike crowdfund.com. And there you'll see a pre-registration link. And all you do is you put your name and email in, and we'll send you some emails. We might fire you some ads, and we'll educate you a little bit more about what we're doing. And then in a short period of time, depending on when this actually goes live. I know this is live now, but the actual podcast and things, within, I can't say a date because I don't know when this is going to be posted and stuff like that, but within a short time after you register, there'll be a live date sent to your email straight through to CrowdCube where you can pledge your investment. And that's from as little as $10 all the way up to, your hundreds of thousands if you wanted to go all in, of course. So check it out, guys, because we're growing fast, and we'd love to have a community-led platform where we have people invest in us, help us grow and be a part of the vision and the mission, which is, by the way, I want to say, but we've got 2 missions. One of them, couldn't have one. We have to have 2. First one is to make coaching as fashionable as having a personal trainer. So we talk about creating a new age breed of coach, younger, sharper, more powerful, more impactful. We want this to be not just for your 55 to 65-year-old women, which is completely fine as well. We have lots of those and we love those, but we also want younger people as well to be supporting the younger generation in ways that they need it. We want it to be mass market. We want it to be a fun, cool thing to be. I shouldn't have said cool. That made me very uncool by saying cool, but we want it to be something that people are proud to say, I've got a life coach because I'm looking to level up, not thinking about, I'm in a bad place, I'm getting a life coach. I'm talking a lot, but I know we're on short time. We also want to provide ordinary people with extraordinary tools to create freedom for themselves and others, because I'm an ordinary person, If anything, I was below ordinary when I started this. And through the power of coaching and through the power of the online business, I've been able to create freedom where I get to travel the world and marry a beautiful Venezuelan Miami chick, and things couldn't really be any better. And I would never be able to comprehend that I could have created the level of freedom that I have, both location, in the things that I do, the way that I think, the money I have, and all those things. And coaching can really provide that for people if done in the right way, because you can set up your business, you get to help people, you get to work on yourself, and you get to do it from anywhere in the world. So as long as you're not doing it from your car, like your couple of mates, which I need to have a word with, then it can be a very, very profitable and fulfilling opportunity to take advantage of.
Yeah, I mean, I hate to knock them. I mean, I imagine they're fairly good at what they do, but it was one of those things where, wait, you presented this image of something that you were not, and to me, that's very deceptive. I mean, we evicted someone in California one time out of one of the houses we owned, and literally evicted. They had homeless people living with them. They were charging them rent, not paying us. Within 3 months, they'd taken a course and were presenting themselves as a life coach. And if you knew this person, they were probably the last person, especially with the gist of what I described, should be a life coach. So playing into that, I mean, it looks like on the app, it can make coaches better, improve them, and improve the quality of what they're doing. It looks like there's also a community there where they can maybe network or learn off each other.
Yeah, well, the problem is coaching is actually an unregulated industry, which means you don't have to have any qualifications, and anybody can actually just snap their fingers and say, I'm a life coach. The problem is a lot of the training is quite archaic, and it's done, based on training from the 80s. And most people can't be bothered to do it because it's not stimulating and engaging, and it's not required. So we're taking a stance where we bring a lot of energy and a lot of technology to make the training actually enjoyable, so people want to take part in it. But of course, we verify coaches as well. So we ask them to send credentials, we ask them to send recorded coaching sessions, and it means that you'll no longer be reliant on someone's logo or their cover photo saying they can help you make 6 figures. You'll actually be able to have them fully verified, and we're going to give them a score out of 100. So if they provide a shit coaching session, they're going to get a shit score, and it doesn't matter who you are or how good your branding is, or how good your website is, or how fake your testimonials are, you're going to get a low score. So yeah, hopefully this is going to make a big change in the industry that's needed. But on the flip side, let me just back coaching up.
Mhm.
There's a lot of amazing coaches out there that will
Yeah.
change your life like that. You know, I've had access to them. We've trained thousands of them. Of course, there's charlatans and con men and people looking to make a quick buck anywhere in any industry. You've got it in every industry you can imagine. There's going to be someone that's coming in a suit, in their leased car, that's living at home with their mum. You know, it happens, not just in coaching. Those people exist, and we can't eradicate them completely. But it's important for us to focus on the good that coaching's doing in the world,
Mhm.
and it's giving people a lifeline that they've never had access to before. So I'm a huge advocate for coaching. It turned me from a convicted violent criminal into a multi-millionaire, freedom-based entrepreneur that literally gets to do podcasts out of his shoe. If that's not success, I don't know what is.
And he's running off to get married. So there's that. So is it? It looks like the community is pretty good because you can learn from each other. You can learn to be a better coach. You can meet people, exchange
Yep.
data. And I know a lot of my coaching friends that are really good at the business. They learn from each other. They usually hire other coaches to become better coaches. And so it sounds like it's a real great place where everybody can get together, learn from each other, really improve the space of coaching.
Yeah. Yeah, because we have Connect and Meet, connect to the online social media platform. So we actually have our own version of a social media platform, fully functional, because there's definitely a niche for it. I mean, Facebook is for your friends and family that no one really uses anymore. Instagram is for the highlight reel. TikTok is for the young kids. Fuck knows what they get up to on there. LinkedIn is for professionals. But, you know, what platform is there for lifetime learning, positivity, coaching,
Mhm.
personal development? Someone that's not going to hate on you, those people get kicked off. So we've got a bit of a niche in the social aspect in itself, but then the meat is our global co-working spaces. And our one in Bali is amazing. You can eat breakfast there, lunch and dinner. There's workshops there. There's coach training there. We have coaching questions on every table. Yes, it's an amazing environment for coaches. So we hope to expand that post crowdfund to be able to have those in every city in the world. The next one is planned to be for London, then Chiang Mai in Thailand. And of course, there will be a Cafe Coach Miami, because that's where I'll be resettling post getting married. So I will be an American.
There you go.
Yeah.
Welcome. You're going to become a Yankee, as they
I know.
used to call it. So you're switching over from the other side across the pond.
I wonder if I'll change my accent over the years. In 20 years from now, you might be interviewing me and I might be
I don't
full.
know. Just try and keep it around as long as you can. People love people with accents here, especially
Okay.
chicks. But you're
I'll
getting
really
married,
turn
so
it
that's
up.
over.
I'll do a real good Hugh Grant when I speak to everyone.
Yeah, there you go. There you
Yeah.
go.
Okay.
For some reason, people with accents here seem smarter. Of course, we're a pretty crazy, dumb country, but have fun moving here.
I just did a TEDx talk a couple of days ago, and I deliberately wore a pair of blue block glasses just to make me look a little bit smarter, and it worked.
Oh, there you go. Well, if you've got the accent, I mean, English people always sound smarter. They sound more, English people are more proper usually, and you guys usually have a better. I think you guys have better schools over there than we do here. So you guys always come across as smarter. So you probably have just that going for you, regardless.
I think you have an image of England, and I have an image of America, and I think they're both completely wrong. Like I see in films, oh my God, if I went to America, it's like an island of opportunity. Every woman is amazing, and and then you think of all the posh English men, and really the reality for both of us, I think, is probably quite different. But we'll keep that picture there because it's nice.
Yeah, there you go. Just watch the fatty foods here. That's the main thing. They say a lot of English people when they move here, they eat our foods, and our foods are so like between the high fructose corn syrup and the calorie richness, you can actually eat the same portions, but you'll get fat here. So this is really interesting. People can download the app on the Apple App Store. They can do it on Google Play Store and Oculus as well, which is really cool. They can get as little as $9.99 a month. You guys guarantee the service with a refund in 14 days. So you guys, I like that because you guys back up what you're doing. They can have a coaching directory listing. They can have access to the members, access to resources, printable books. complimentary strategy coaching session, hundreds of hours of expert training, and online business bundle courses. So this sounds like a great place for all the coaches that are out there and stuff,
Yeah.
so they
Your
can
mates in the
check
car
it
need to get in there ASAP so they can get
out.
out of their car and into
I was really shocked. I don't look.
I'm sitting here from a hotel room. I probably look like the same.
Yeah. Like, I mean, if you're in your car, I mean, you don't have to tell us you're in your car, but don't make me think that you're some six-figure highfalutin
Yeah.
travel the world dude, and you know your thing. It's the image that you present. And I'm not sure, I don't know.
There's a balance, because
Yeah.
there's fake in it, right? And
Yeah.
there's saying things that are, inauthentic. And then there is an element of, I believe, because rather than fake it till you make it, I do believe you can be it until you see it. Like, I remember there
Yeah,
was a
sure.
time when I was starting out where I had to put myself in certain positions and maybe dress in a way that I wouldn't dress, maybe speak in a way that I probably wouldn't usually speak, to try and, become the person that I wanted to be. So I think, there's a thin line, stretch yourself and step into that new identity and say, I want to make a change. I'm a different person. But at the same time, yeah, you can't be making lies, and please don't help people make money if you've got no money, because that one's just
I've made millions of dollars, and I'll help you make money too, right from the front seat of my Accord.
Yeah.
It's one of those things where, I mean, we try and run a professional show. We have great people on here, brilliant authors, people that we had a billionaire on last week. I try and run a professional show, but I will tell you, I do it. I'm wearing shorts and flip-flops right now, and I've got a green screen to hide the mess behind me. I'll tell you that.
Yeah. I'm wearing shorts and not even flip-flops. I'm cross-legged sitting on a hotel bed.
There you go. We call it the mark.
Doesn't mean we're not the smart men that have got value to offer the world, though, does it, Chris?
It doesn't. I mean, it's in your head and what you can do. I mean, all my multimillionaire companies that I built in the 35 years of owning companies and running them, you can go look at all the companies I've owned on the SOS and all that stuff. You can follow me. I got all my books and everything here. But anyway, what have we covered or touched on that we should cover for what you guys are doing? I think it's just amazing what you guys are doing, especially in the VR space.
I think we've covered a lot about the business. We briefly touched on my background and that sort of transformational piece, but I'd just like to share maybe a little bit of value, because I always like to drop some on people. And the biggest realization I've ever had, and you would have heard this before, you've been doing this a long time, this isn't anything new, but it's something that if anyone new is listening to, then you need to hear this. There's a lot of setbacks that we have in life, and it's so difficult to not focus on them and play the blame game, blame everything and everyone around you for why your life is so hard, and refuse to take responsibility for yourself. And I know that I did that. It's interesting. In your trailer, you mentioned we've got people so smart they'll make your brain bleed. Oh my God, my battery's about to. 1 second, let me plug the charger in. Really are doing this on the fly. This is digital nomad at its finest. So
he's going to a wedding, folks.
Yeah, I know, guys. Come on, help.
He's traveling to his wedding.
Do me a favor and just forgive me for this one. I'm usually pretty professional. I mean, if you want to go and check me out, by the way, I'll drop one more last plug in before I get into this. On Instagram, at Lewis Raymond Taylor. I can actually be quite presentable, and I can actually have a shave, and I can actually be in some quite nice environments, but at the moment, not quite. Anyway,
we'll probably see your wedding photos too.
Yeah. Well,
are you going to be in a suit for that?
A white tux.
There you go. That'll look good.
I'm going full on into that. So it was interesting when I heard your intro. You mentioned something like we have people on here that are so smart they make your brain bleed. Now, that actually, it is funny in your context, but unfortunately, I want to get real. When I thought that I'd really ruined my life and somebody else's life, and it was the moment of change for me, where I was in a taxi queue. I was very drunk, and I had an argument with somebody, and I hit them, and they hit their head on the ground, and it resulted in a brain bleed.
Oh, no.
And they was actually in a coma for 3 days, not 3 months. They're completely fine now, but I was sentenced to prison for grievous bodily harm for 18 months. And it was that moment where, I realized, that I'd almost ruined everything for not only my life, but his life. And I started making huge changes. But at this point, I had so much against me. It was almost impossible, to most people's mind to comprehend that I could turn this around.
Mm-hmm.
But I was able to actually realize that all of these tough times that I'd been through, and okay, that one was to somebody else, but I'd had a lot of things that happened to me, a lot of verbal and physical and sexual abuse over the years. And I realized that these were actually gifts. And I know that sounds quite extreme, but I'm actually very grateful for those things because they were the world's best life coaching training. They were teaching me so much about myself, and I was then able to share that with other people. And as a result, it's given me this compelling drive to want to share it with other people because I know how powerful change can be. So, when sometimes you feel like life's happening to you, and things are happening to you, we've got to flip it for it's happening for you, and this is all for a reason. There'll be so many people watching this thinking, yeah, these guys can be successful, but not for someone like me, not for all the things I've been through and all my backstory and all my criminal record or whatever it might be. But you can really do a 360. I actually just recently delivered a TEDx talk, and I called it Turning a Black Hole White. And it's about how we can shift perspective. And because they threw that one on me last minute. It was 3 days before the TEDx, and they said, you got to talk about the black hole. I thought, well, black hole, I have no idea about a black hole. I thought, right, I'm gonna have to change that into an analogy instead. But it was about shifting perspective, and seeing a black hole as just a little black dot, something that is only significant if you stare and focus on it, and being able to see the massive white space opportunity that is around the black hole. And this is what we need to do. We need to realize that, things have happened to you, but you can also see it as they've happened for you. And you can use those gifts and life experiences to share with other people, make the world a better place, and in turn, completely change everything on the outside around you as well, which is what's happened for me. So, and as cliche as it sounds, guys, don't give up. I was the person that was so close to giving up. The black hole is often referred to as the point of no return. And I was really at my point of no return, but I completely 360'd it. 180. 360 would be taking me back to where I was. But I 180'd it, and I completely turned in the other direction. And thank God, thank a higher power, thank me, I was able to completely change everything in my life. And it's possible for anybody because I am just your average person.
There you go. That's a beautiful, inspirational thing. Anything more you want to touch on before we go?
No, but just guys, this is a different end of the world for me, guys. So I haven't connected with loads of you people. It's very unlikely you would have heard of me. So please connect. I love to speak to new people and connect and answer questions. I'm very interactive on social media. So feel free to screenshot this if you're watching live. Let's get something that's actually in focus. And tag me on Instagram at Lewis Raymond Taylor. Drop me a message, drop me a follow, and I'll be happy to chat about where you're at and if something we can do can help you. Or maybe you can just follow and just see cool pictures of me in a white tux at my wedding in a couple of weeks' time.
There you go. There'll also be your links on the chrisvossshow.com. So go
Brilliant.
see the post there. And of course, when we share it out, it'll have links on there as well. Let's get those links one more time. We've got your website and then the other.
Yeah, so my personal website is lewisraymondtaylor.com. I think it's a very English name, isn't it? That's probably as English as it gets. Or do you have that in America, those names?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, well, it's not then.
We just don't have the T, the Earl T.
We have that here. My girlfriend, whenever I ask her for a tea, it's because I want a normal tea with milk in it. But she whenever I ask for a tea, she says, "What kind?" I said, "Well, tea." And she's like, "No, what type?" Peppermint. Ginger and lemon. Oh, God, we have, Anyway, I have to teach her about tea.
Is it Earl Grey tea? I think
Earl Grey tea is one. English breakfast is my favorite.
Okay. Yeah. You think you can find them here, but I'm not sure if they're like the official.
No, I mean, sometimes my girlfriend brings me tea and it's got no milk in it, and I say, "What the hell is this?" This is leaves and water. This is not a cup of tea. But right, so my website is Lewis Raymond Taylor. That's LEWISRAYMOND. You can also find me on Google under that. I'm the only one in the world, luckily. So if you type that into Google, it's just me that comes up, and you can find me on all the social media channels under that handle. Luckily, I was able to secure them all. most active on Instagram. You can find our business, thecoachingmasters.com or coachapp.com. But most importantly, because it's prevalent right now, if you are looking to make an investment into a fast growing tech startup, you'll be able to see all the facts and figures you need on Crowdcube when it goes live. But you can invest as little as $10 when you pre-register. We'll send you the link and you can invest on there. You can invest $10 or $100 or $1,000. But also on the thank you page, the redirection page, if any of you have got $25,000 or more and are serious investors, which maybe there are some, a big amount of those people there, you've also got an opportunity to book a call and speak directly with my business partner, have a conversation about our business and if it could be the right fit for you to invest a substantial amount. And you can find those details at tcmcrowdfund.com. That's Tango Charlie Mike crowdfund.com.
There you go. Well, Lewis, it's been wonderful to have you on. Thank you so much for coming on, sir.
Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure, Chris. And hope to connect with all your audience at some point in the future and keep up the good work.
There you go. There you go. And congrats on the wedding and have fun and be safe.
Thank you.
Thanks, my audience, for tuning in. Go to goodreads.com/Chris Voss, youtube.com/Chris Voss, all the places we are on the LinkedIn universe there and every place in between. Stay safe, be good to each other, and we'll see you guys next time.